Hello, hello. You saw a silly squat button, you had to click it? Oh boy, you don't even know. You don't know. So, first things first is that we've got Horror Music here. They're pretty awesome. The second thing to know is that Grace recently upped the weight on the squats. So now we're up to 15 pounds that I need to squat with today. Uh, which is pretty silly, I think. Pretty silly that you did the 50 without even knowing that. But that is how it is, isn't it? It'd be strange if it was how it isn't. Papa? Got my fingers. Hee hee hee. Ooh. It's silly to do that. Oh. Blah. So, yeah, I've got a 5 pound in one hand and then a 10 pound in the other. And I just kind of hold it with both hands. So that way it's sort of centered. Now, I'm hoping this isn't too hard, but if it is, well, it'll 25 yesterday was alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gonna readjust my grip. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 3/5 of the way there, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. I'm out of breath after that. Believe it or not, it's actually starting to kind of work out my middle back. Which probably means I'm doing it slightly wrong, but I still haven't quite figured out how I should be holding them. Yesterday you sounded tired after 25 minutes to 47 today. Well, you guys just can't hear my heavy breathing from back there. I was tired after like 30. Then by 40 I was really in it. But we made it. And I could switch back to face only mode. Bada bing, bada boom. It's always good to get that exercise in, you know? I walk places a lot. But that's not always the only exercise that I need, you know? Brain no working. Let's start Krita. You're absolutely ridiculous, Grace. I mostly feel like the biggest change is I need to eat more for it to. You're so silly. For it to actually be effective, I need to probably eat more. Oh, where's my tablet? Here it is. So this is what we started yesterday, right? I'm thinking it's looking pretty nice. I'm thinking it's looking pretty nice indeed. You know? You're both ridiculous, by the way. Let's make sure the tablet's mapped to the screen. I mean, it's mapped to both screens by default, is all. There we go. At some point, I probably need to replace this nib. I don't know exactly what point that is. I need to do that, but I'm sure I will know. Made good progress after you left? Yeah, I really did, I think. It's not obviously it's obviously not perfect. Let's see if we can get... There's a lot of things. Unfortunately, I think it's my own turn to do some working out. Yeah, maybe. You never really know. Let me see the reference sheet. So, the feet are difficult, of course, because they're feet. Even cat paws are tricky for me. So, let's see if I can kind of... what layer are you even on? I should probably check. Have a good stream. You'll toss like 24. Oh, goodness. Well, it's up to you, of course. So that's that. This layer really does have nothing on it. Goodness. Alrighty. I do think that... Where are they? I do think that this probably shouldn't quite be like that. I think we ought to go like that a little bit. I think that's more accurate. It's so convenient that Krita has that 3D rotation. So if I go... Try and put in the toe beans first. Because... I was a silly when I made this reference, and I never actually canonized the bottom of the feet, I don't think. But it is sort of meant to be facing a bit that way. Maybe I rotate a little more. Oh wait, hang on. Honestly, even to like that makes sense, right? I might go and make this a little bit more even like that. I mean, it hardly matters. Then we do need to get these paws in somehow. I know it's kind of tricky sometimes. Because how do you have an ankle with this cat paw, you know? If you're being realistic, a cat paw's ankle is where the human's knee is, basically. Hmm. It's like this is. Where's. I mean, technically it's not bad. Maybe it needs claws to look quite right. No, it does not. The answer is that it simply does not look quite right. Let's restart. So, let's see. I did like that on the reference, and that was a bad decision. And I probably hated it at the time too. But it is what it is. Let's see. If I can just kind of block out some of the planes that are going to be part of this, you know? Because there's going to be basically a polygon for each toe, right? I guess I don't know what the 3D word for a polygon is, unfortunately. See, that looks about right for where the toe should be. But then there's also a bigger polygon for where that goes. And then this here is obviously a bit of a plane where the pad goes, you know? Yeah, I think that the pad needs to take up more of space there. So that's a good start, but actually, this is a bit of a simplification of them because rather than being strictly circles, they're more of, we'd see the curve upwards from the actual depth, and then we'd see sort of like a rounded section where it meets the fur. It'd be probably a bit more like this if we're thinking about how we'd be seeing it, you know? And this isn't immune to that, but that's because of the shape of it. That's something we have to take a bit more care for during shading and stuff. Yeah, just like this. My music stopped. When did that happen? I just now noticed. I am very bad at noticing things. I am not, in fact, the noticer. Let's try and do that a bit more in uniform distance with the others. It would kind of be like that. Yeah. Obviously, that's a blocky, you know, version, which is kind of fun because this is based on the Minecrafty thing. But very good, methinks. So I'm noticing the tricky part is going to be doing it again, really. Um. Could go probably about from there to about there, I think. if I had to guess. To make it look about right. And this can be fixed up in the future more. If it needs to be. There, that looks about right. Now, we want to kind of avoid matching those lines exactly, so I am going to kind of go like this, and then put the toe in such a way. It's a little tricky to make the toe exactly match, so it probably just won't, unfortunately. We're kind of gonna have to eyeball it, unfortunately. Kind of trying to mimic the way I did it before. Alright. A little tricky to tell at the moment. Let's see if I can get a little extra layer in there to sort of block out some of these things so I can see the actual lines I'm using better. You know if they're actually good or not. That is a no. We are definitely a no there. But I think I can see what the issue is. If I supposedly take this and move it down like there-ish, which not only lines up with the outline better, but it also, yeah. Now I'm thinking that this one might actually be too thin, right? And that could be easy to fix if I'm correct about how this works. But if I just kind of like eat whoops, I forgot I changed the color off black. Pretty much just like that. If I thicken it up, then it should match up with that a bit better. And that doesn't look unnatural at all. I mean, obviously it's out of style. Hello there, Starring Gemini. It's been a bit. How you up to? How you doing? I think these ones, maybe it's still the same, but maybe. Oh well, we'll just do circles for them for now. Because these ones are a bit less angled than those. You're doing good, better than before? That's good. I'm glad for better. The other thing I would note on this right now is that this probably needs to move over. How about yourself? I'm doing good. I mean, I'm a little worried about some of my classes. Calculus 2 is no joke, right? But overall, I think I'm not doing too badly. That might not be terrible, at least for a start. So, if I dropped out of uni since we last spoke. Oh boy, I hope you're doing alright then, because that can be tricky. But, if it was the right move, then it was the right move, you know? I'll leave that layer up. Take this layer away. Bah! Blah! Sometimes you just get that weird feeling after you've sneezed. So now if I go... It wasn't because of the course being hard. I'm just unable to focus on anything waiting on an ADC, so I'm gonna try again in a few years. That makes a lot of sense, yeah. One thing you kind of want to avoid is having these tangent lines, but I'm not quite sure what to do about that. So it's just gonna have to exist. Perhaps a bit like that. No, that is actually bad and awful. What if... that does not look right. No, 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 it does not look right. The reason for that is because it's rotated too much towards that way. I'm curious, if I just like use this as a sample, try and put it to that maybe. I mean, obviously it's flat, which makes it harder. If I... Maybe it's because it doesn't have any shading. Maybe it's because it's flat. If I just like do some practice shading on it, for example, would that help? Because then we'd have, you know, like some of this. I probably should have been doing this on a different layer. Oh well. Just trying to see if shading this makes it better, or if it's just kind of doomed. You know? Maybe that circle needs to be more there. Because what we kind of need to do is convince the viewer that the bottom of the pie is there, you know? Does putting those circles in help? Kind of, actually. A little bit surprising. I think what I mean to do, actually, is to sort of flatten out this part of it. Right? That'll give the impression that it's cut off there, but then it's rounded there. So it's a little more believable to have these circles there. Or so I'd think. Let's see how big I made them here. Not there, there. I feel like part of it too is that this needs to probably connect normally like the others do. How's that then? If I put that circle about where it should be. And this one, of course, there, because it's the only place it goes. And if I hide this again, I honestly don't think that's too far off, you know? Because if we draw, actually, if we hide this one, then you can see the... Okay, no, it is definitely too rotated that way, right? I'm not crazy. if I go like this, right? That's not an insane thing to think of. Because now it feels like it's not thick enough is the thing. Is this... I might need one of y'all's opinions. Which do you think is better? Whoops. This or this? Because I can work with either one, of course. This one might fit better with that one. Of course, I would probably want to take this and try and mimic the transformation. No, like this one, does that fit still? Arguably better, in fact. If I were to enlarge it now so that it still fits the other one. I think that's the vibe. A little smaller. Still make those two roughly match up. If I put that one back. I'm honestly not against what I'm seeing. We might have to run with it a bit to find out. Wrong layer. Then another thing I'm noticing is maybe this one needs to flatten out a bit in the same way. The shading does kind of help a little bit. The sort of faux shading. I mean, it's not technically faux. It is real shading. It's just a technique that other people use all the time, just not me as much in digital art specifically. Just because it's not something I typically go for with this, because, I mean, we have better shading things we can use. One little difficulty I might run into is making sure that this looks like a shirt rather than just, you know, the skin. That is this one as it should be. Okie dokie. Some fun flags you have there. Avatar 82 pride flag. How interesting. That looks like a default Twitch one then. One thing I need to get better about is actually, you know, drawing fluid lines rather than relying on something sketching, you know? Because if it's fluid, then I get better at drawing fluid lines. And if I get better at drawing fluid lines, then I get better at drawing all lines, really. How have I done this? It wasn't 2 strokes I did that one. So 2 will work for this one. Because I definitely need to connect up with... On this one, I did make that on the outer edge side of the line. You know? So maybe it should be like that. And I also... I think that this doesn't quite work yet to do that now. And I think I saw when I wanted, it already removed it by the time I realized I wanted it. That's the one flaw of my strategy. Well, I'm sure there's others, but I don't know them yet. Okie dokie. Now, this should probably be more like that. Maybe if I just give into the circles for a bit. If I hide this... I'm gonna need some opinions. I'm definitely gonna need some opinions. Oops. I need people to tell me if they think this is good or awful, so I know in what direction I need to adjust it. Good enough. Okay. Like, maybe this would work better if this arm was a little bit more like that. Because it's, I mean, technically it's supposed to be going backwards, right? But it wouldn't be quite at that angle, I don't think. I think the angle we should be looking for is a little bit more like that. So that the arm is going behind them properly. Behind them at the right angle. Because before I had it imagined like that, but that's not quite right, is it? It's more like that. Yeah, I definitely need some opinions on this. I feel like one foot is bigger than the other. Now I feel like this one's bigger than that one. So to remedy this, I'm going to make this one bigger. Horizontally. Yeah. That's actually about right. Oh, that's right. It's black that I need to be using. If I kind of shade these the same. At least for while I'm looking at this. Actually, this wouldn't have that, because that's exclusively in the light, whereas this one isn't. You know what? I'm not against this. Not exactly, per se. This needs to be squared a little. Not exactly sure how, which is why I'm going back to the sketching for it. In fact, they all need to be square a little bit on this side. This needs to go up. At least to match with the other, I think. In fact, they all do need to go up. Just a smidgen. Well, that one's actually good. Yeah, like this. There. I mean, I'm a fan. I mean, like, yeah. I'm the tiniest bit undecided on if I want to include the tail or not. But you know what? At this point, why not? I mean, at least until I get some opinions on the feet, I might as well. You know? So tail goes... I actually have the length of the tail here. It's a little bit silly of me to have. However, I do think it's helpful. So I'm going to add a new layer. I'm just going to take these pieces. Honestly, I might as well just go back here. Take them. Bring that up to the top. There we go. I don't think I even need this one. So, when I measured the tail, it was starting from about there. Which means it needs to start from about there for me. Oh, that's so funny. The white of the background is part of the picture, but that's okay. So, what we need is... essentially just to, like, maneuver this a little bit so that we can start in just the right spot. Because it does kind of have to go down from the spine, because the human spine isn't like a cat spine exactly. The cat spine is horizontal to start with, and the human's is vertical downwards. So while the cat's tail can go up pretty much right away from the horizontal, a human cat girl spine means the tail has to go down for starters. At least the way I envision that. Obviously, there's any number of different canons you can subscribe to. However, I personally believe in... here. Let's take this one piece at a time. And yeah, I did say one piece, for those who are paying attention. Can we get much higher? Indeed. I think I rotate this one a little bit back into the perspective. Right? Because that's where it has to go, is from the spine it has to go back and around. So this one has to be more, I think, but also rotated. Like that, I think. Alright. Maybe not quite that much. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Bum. Okie dokie. Good so far, I think. Whoops. For some reason I thought I was using the box one. I was not. Let's see. This one will be slightly less because it's coming back out and around. Right? And obviously that curve should technically be a little bit smoothed out. And by smoothed out, I mean go like this pretty much, and pretty much no other change. Just a visual thing, really. Then, this one will be pretty much... Actually, it starts to go the other way, now that I think about it. This one goes kind of like this now. Then we can basically just say it's normal lengthwise. Because it isn't exactly being warped by perspective at this particular time. I would like it to kind of actually go up onto the leg. That'd be pretty neat, I think, if it can reach. We'll see if we have enough length. This one is going to be a bit into perspective. Hang on. Start by going like this. It's a little bit into perspective because it's, you know. This is obviously not an exact science, by the way. If anyone's hoping for an exact length, you're not getting it. We've only got these 4 left, huh? Okay, it doesn't look like we can really get onto the leg from here. But what we can do is similarly cool. Or so I would think. Can put this closer to there. Then I'm going to rotate a little bit like this. And then we're going to basically make it go right up along the side there. You know? It's a bit of a sharper turn. But that's fine. These don't have to be like straight. The tail isn't going to be straight, certainly. I'm not going to be straight, certainly. I'm silly for that. Yeah, so now that'll end up being parallel. So that should be the right amount of tail. Because, thinking on it. Let's see. It goes up to the back. Or up almost, basically to the shoulders. Starting from it down. It could do us well to make it a little bit longer. Just for, just to be careful, essentially. Because this length, 1, 2, 3, it takes 3 seconds for my mouse to travel down at that speed. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hang on, so it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's close enough, honestly. I used the right building blocks for it. Might as well just assume it's correct, you know? And plus, I can put the little, you know, on it. Oh. Um. I didn't even realize this was the same layer. Let's just erase this. See how it looks. Okay, well, probably it would make more sense to put in that upwards curve. Sort of. Less so on the bottom part because it's farther away from it. But just so that this thickness is even, you know? I mean, once again, the question comes down to who likes this and who hates this, right? Is this something y'all like? Or is this something only I seem to think looks okay? Like, obviously the answer is, oh, do what you like. But I'm trying to see what's, you know, there's a good art and there's a bad art that you can do, right? If you don't know which it is, then it's probably bad, right? That's just how it is lots of times. However, I am at the, let me see. Okay, well, we've got about 10 minutes until the 1 hour mark. So, I will continue thinking on it for a quick second. I do kind of feel like the hand should be bigger. Now I'm looking at it. I look at this and the one thing that really stands out is that this hand is too small. And the hand, I mean, if I'm just looking at my own hand, it should be, like 4 out of 5 on the forearm extended, from middle finger to base of the palm. So, I mean, I guess that doesn't quite fit here. But, I don't know what I'm talking about, so ignore me. I'll at least try my best to do a little bit better of a hand. Because, see, that doesn't work. Where's my reference? Hand here can be stolen. I love stealing. I love taking things. Okie dokie. How did I get it like that? I guess I left a tiny bit over when I was moving it, huh? Then I'm gonna... get rid of that. There we go. Then we'll kind of put this as much as we can like this. Okay, so the unfortunate thing is that the length is just about correct, right? At least according to the reference I've made. That doesn't mean that anything else is correct, though. Now, if my wizardry is correct, then this little process here, am I making an okay hand? The first thing to note about is that this pinky is too long, so that's the first thing I'll fix once I get this index finger in. Actually, that's about right. The thumb's actually not bad. This should be probably more like that. Right, and then I just make the pinky smaller. Well, hang on, I probably didn't need to circle all of that. Probably just more like this. I might go a little, whoops, a little bit like that. It's not terrible, I will say, as a start. Maybe this goes a little bit more like that. When I put my hand down like this, the thumb should be a little bit straight, flatter out, you know? Maybe not quite that straight out, hang on. Split the difference. It's such a mess. kind of going for that. No. I do think that the, and that goes a bit more like this. And obviously needs to be brought in. Maybe I rotate it so it's a little bit of bent. You know what, maybe actually. Hang on. Oh, here's my 10:30 alarm. Silly, silly. Hands are hard. Everybody knows that already, unfortunately. The complaining about it is just telling everyone something they already know. I mean, actually, yeah. I mean, that's that, right? That doesn't look too bad at all. I'm kind of proud of this. Oops. I'll be right back. I muted myself before I finished speaking. I'm silly like that. Y'all behave. I will... Here, let's, No, I guess I will just send you the Be Right Back screen. I will be right back, and tell me what you think of the art when I get back, please. I know you can't see it right now, which is the unfortunate thing, but when I am back, please tell me. I'm back. Now the first thing I do want to do now that I'm back. Oh, never mind. Well, I might as well just... I'm looking at the Poor music thing, right? We had like 40 minutes left in the music. I'm silly. I just wanted to, you know, kind of restart it so that I would not run out of time. So, I mean, really, I am quite happy with this. That happens sometimes. What is that about? It's actually just kind of paused. Skipping ahead seemed to work just fine for some reason. Well, that's that then. The next thing to do is work on the sleeves. It kind of looks a bit weird without the sleeves. One thing I try most times to just kind of have a bit of a poofy sleeve. It's a little tricky though. Maybe just... Really? Really? Wow. There's one determined bot. Hang on. For this one. Bing. And I blocked them also. And also... And... There we go. Just about everything I could do. Get rid of them. Don't want them here. You're kinda welcome here. That's actually not a bad poofy sleeve. Just a little bit. Now, the rest of the sleeve is a bit more, to the skin, unfortunately. Trying to figure out exactly how I want that to go. Now if I do like that. That's not too bad. That was about a little bit of a crease up at the elbow. I would like some opinions. I need some idea of what needs to be fixed. Because otherwise I'm just going to assume it's all good and continue as though it's all good, you know? Which obviously nobody would complain about, but... Maybe that crease would actually be a little bit more Maybe the arm bends a little like there, right? No, not quite. It's a bit weird because the arms are going backwards, but the hands are out. Means, oops. It'd be at its wider part about there. Right? That's just how arms go. Then I'm looking at my own arm for this. Should get thinner, certainly. Let's try like that. It's a little tricky. Whoops. Because obviously I know that the arm shouldn't be perfectly straight, right? That's just not very real. Actually, it kind of... The widest part is actually a little bit more like... there? Perhaps? So now it looks wrong, but I'm trying to figure out the reason, you know? So looking wrong is one thing. It looking wrong and I don't know why is a different and worse thing, you know? I think the bottom part is a little straighter. At the moment, this is actually also a tiny bit more to the side. No, that's still... I mean, this... Whoops. That should certainly be a little bit up there. The way I'm framing it. Oh, I know. It's because I'm not accounting for the wrist. So really... I should... move that to about there. Right? That ain't quite it, though. I think the next thing to fix will be that this hand probably be more like there, you know? And once again, I'm using these sketches because I don't actually know where I want the lines to be yet. I'm gonna do more fluid ones once I do know that. Hang on, once again. Because if I were to think about this... Huh? Oh. Then really what I'm saying is that these lines go like that, you know? Which doesn't quite make sense. And once again, part of that is because it's all terrible and wrong. So this time I think actually I just move the hand. Alright. And if I add this back in, what I'm saying is that this line goes like that, which is good. This line goes like that, which is good. Okie dokie. I think after that then, probably needs to be a bit more like this, rather than that. And this goes a little more inwards, because it has that freedom now. Not that much. Okay. So, this is something, isn't it? We do kind of want to decide how the rest of the pants look, huh? Because I was thinking about a bit of a skirt type thing. Because that's how the reference I had was doing it. But maybe instead I just say, well, firstly, let me draw this line. To show that this kind of is going over. Oh, this is probably the wrong layer to be doing this on, I will admit. If I do decide on this sort of thing, then I'd have it, in that case I would have it go be in a couple different pieces. However, here, let me actually do that next layer I was talking about, because then I can go like that. Because I need it to be sort of... So, if I were to draw a... line going across it. If I want that line to be in the same relative position across both legs, right? So I want to start it at the tip of this, go down and across. And I have to only assume that goes down like that. This one has to go down like that, I think? Well, no, because this is just above the line of the leg itself, right? So it's actually probably a little bit more like that. Like that's probably about where that midsection would be. Or at least where those points go. That looks about correct. Then I want to make sure that this is going sort of like to there to a point maybe. And basically go like that. I'm actually just wrong, by the way. Let's start from this, right? Because we know we have that. Because these two, if I drew those lines through, it'd have to go and be kind of like that, wouldn't they? That means, logically, this. So going from the hips, it'd be like that. Or maybe a bit longer. Yeah. So that's like where the waist is. Or I guess hips. I don't know. But then, now that we have this, I can draw sort of... Because basically it has to be going along, basically similar to either of these two circles and this, you know? So it has to... the way I'm picturing it, mixed up between picturing and envisioning. If I look up a Roman kind of skirt, that might be the right kind of thing I'm thinking of. Kind of like this, yeah. Not quite though, hang on. Let's see if I can find something that might look a bit cooler. Or at least might just fit the idea I have better. This actually could be good. See these on the sides? The only problem with them is that they're connected to a chest plate, right? That is kind of how plate armor goes sometimes. unfortunately, but I don't have that. Maybe I do it anyway, but instead make those buckles connect up to that little band at the waist that I've got. That sounds fun. So let's have the armor kind of up. Well, they might be a bit smaller so that I don't have to draw over these ones I like. Let's see. Or maybe I go over it anyway because it's awesome. You know? If I assume it's going to there, and I would go like this, like that. Well, actually, let's just draw it as though it's on top from the start, right? So that means this line has to come, even curved has to come out to like there. If only this was a full picture. Go up to there. And then, so I get this layered plate effect, right? That could be awesome. I'm just wondering, like, growing protection is kind of important when drawing armor. At least in some way. Oh, these ones here. These ones have an interesting way about it. I might take a little bit of inspiration from them as I do this, then... Oh, where's that other one gone? Back to this one. So what I'm gonna do here is... This is all very experimental, by the way. I've never actually drawn this kind of thing before. This looks like it's supposed to... maybe this goes a little bit more like that, by the way. Just in case that seems more correct. We will have this go... Well, hang on, it'll be there. It's more like on the edge of this line, really. And that's at the top, so that would have to also be at the top of this leg. And once again, sketchy because I'm really just unsure of it. So if that's down there on that one, that's actually... Seeing how that's above that bit there? That bit is for this side of the leg. It's right about there, right? Means that this one has to pass through about there, right? Or just about anyway. You see how that's also on the outside of that circle? Then, if that's going like that there, then this is kind of going like that there. On the other side of this, of course. It's not actually visible from this position. In fact, I might as well just draw it through as though we're on the other side of the leg. You know, that way it's easier to match up. Because then I can draw... Kind of just really copy what's over there. It wouldn't go that far though, because this only is about that half of this first plate. Whoops. You're saying things that I can't see? You are not. Okay. So... about halfway is about there, right? I don't know about that necessarily. This actually up here is incorrect. I just remembered. So let's undo it all. Because to match up with that side, it's kind of tricky. Because that line there that I'm seeing matches up with that line there, right? Means the middle of it has to go over that. Means we can kind of because this part is definitely on the inside of the leg, right? Right about there. So if I just make sure that that goes down to about there at some point, then make this hit up to there and back down again, then we're kind of where we want to be. Oops. And we also know that it goes to about halfway. So I might as well, actually, I should be drawing it kind of upwards because it is raised. And then, I don't know what the opposite edge looks like, so I'm going to try and take a bit of stylistic liberty with the way I shape this plate. It obviously makes the most sense for it to go like this. That covers the most of the side. And it also should be... Hang on. It's a little bit of a difficult balancing act to get everything the way I want it to be. And that side at least was easy enough. But what if we made it difficult again? Not like seriously difficult, but just in a way that makes it possibly easier to do the other side. In fact, maybe we just start on this side. So all our matching stuff up. So this is where we want the this is where we want the buckles to be, basically. Right? Then we can kind of say maybe we go out from that. Maybe something like that a little bit. Except maybe we put the top part a little bit farther to the side, right? So boom boom, and similarly I'm trying to make this one sort of hang off the side a little bit more, Which is kinda tricky. I'm hoping it works out alright. Okay, now let me get rid of these circles. I can put them back in a second if I don't like the way I've done these. Now hold the phone, but just me, or does this kind of look good? I can erase this. And then if I bring that back up, and if I just like block out some of this a little bit, so that I can get the full effect. That does look like armor, doesn't it? Then the middle section also needs armored. And this one I think should be pretty easy. Oh, that's right. I'm really just thinking I do a couple of, like, a bit of this, you know? Now that's actually not bad. At least I think not. Now I did want buckles, because buckles are cool. Now that would mean I'd put, I think, kind of like so. And also probably, so that one's tucked into the side there, and we wouldn't really see the one on the other side there, but there would be another one here. Right? That we would see over there. And we're gonna say that kind of goes like that. And this actually just blocking layer that. And that does look pretty armored, huh? And I am going to actually insist that up here we simply must include one more line going like this. Hang on. I can do this. Alright. And this can be a little bit wider, just to demonstrate that it's part of the armor. And down here again, I guess on the blocking layer. Like so. Oops. Like so. Now we can say this color that these get bolted in, or rather that these have an attachment point there. Right? And then we can put a belt buckle on, because these are leather straps, obviously. And then there's obviously belt buckle there as well. There was also these ones that I should add that little detail too. Technically speaking, I'd rather this be on the inside though. Because logically thinking, right? You don't want your armored pieces to be very clearly visible. That looks cool, actually. Goodness. Good job, me, huh? Now, I do want some kind of foot protection. What layer is this one? That's that? Okay, that's fine. Honestly, if the main goal is to demonstrate to people that they are armored, right? Whoops. Wrong color, perhaps? No? Oh, I see. Okay, this is... currently underneath it, one of these ones. Makes sense. That's the ears. And then here's the one we were looking for. So, this kind of thing. I'm thinking if we can just... we just need to show that they are armored. And this kind of armor generally has, at least from what I've seen of feet armors. Oh, well, first of all, I am going to actually want it to sort of go around the toeses. Right, because want your feet armored, but want the paws comfy. Alright, that's a good start. Or so I would think, anyway. locked in. Okay. So that's step 1. That's phase 1, I guess you could call it. Then 2 is this kind of armor generally has a plate in the back for the heel, right? So we can put it in the plate for the back. Then for flexibility, it usually has several plates, right? But these ones, the heel is obviously a bit different. So I think we're going to stick with a couple plates. They obviously do need to be very curved. Accommodate the shape. Right? Then, like so maybe? And obviously one at the toe, so that the toes can have their own plates. And I'm having to invent toe armor. This is ridiculous. Alright, let's see. Toes don't really need that much movement in the front. So I'd probably have 2 plates each. It's a bit unfortunate of the placement there, because those might line up a little bit more than I'd have liked. This will probably want to be 2 plates as well. On either side, right? For comfort, I suppose. I know it looks weird. I'm just trying to think of how best to represent armored paws here. Like, how... If I were a blacksmith, this would probably be how I'd try to armor these paws, you know? Is I would just get all these smaller plates and put them together to make the male. But is this any good? I mean, sources say no at the moment. I could leave them out. But then it would feel wrong. Because I'm doing this based on the Minecraft video I made recently. And I feel like having the boots included is important. Could do a little bit of this to make it clear that there is, in fact, overlap happening, and it's not just like lines in the one plate. This is actually one bent piece. But I can't really have it both ways, you know? I can't really have it be that it's a bunch of mail and that isn't falling off of the form at all. So I think we scrap that and restart. Maybe we do it something much simpler, right? How we had it with the what we had with the outline of that part as we did before. But instead now, it's like just on the top half, you know? So there is that armor, but it's just on the top of the feet. Whoops, didn't mean to. Color select. That's actually better. By quite a bit, methinks. Now, I do need to just kind of detail how there is a bit of shading there. Just so I remember that when I'm doing the next iteration of the lines. In fact, I would even go as far as to say that we should make... Oh goodness, we're at almost 2 hours already. We should probably make these a bit more angular up top, right? Because that's sort of how plate would be. I mean, we do have this helmet, so it's not completely out of whack or out of left field. I do think, though, that there's some coolness factor to it to kind of angle them. Alright. Whoops. Not quite, not quite. I mean, I'm liking it so far. Armor 1, hang on. Here's 1. Beat 1. Beat block 2. Block 1. Armor block 1. Or maybe blocking so that I can tell the difference between something that's been blocked out and something that is blocking, you know? Skirt plate 1. I don't know what it's actually called, those pieces there. Underskirt plate 1. Oh, I see. Armor blocking 2. Main 1. Block 1. Then it looks as though it's all of them named. Let's see. It is tricky, you see. Because obviously I want it to... So I'm obviously gonna want the axe in here somewhere. Probably just like this there. Then... I guess I'll use the line tool. No, I don't need it actually. What I actually need is a reference. Medieval times. Just what kind of axes would people have used? And which one looks similar to Minecraft? Just something with a good intersection between the two. This one. This is a battle axe, apparently. Minecraft would have used a wood chopping axe. Medieval woodcutting axe. So it would be like this, huh? That's interesting. Well, would be kind of like this. But it's kind of... I might kind of be getting the idea. Might stick with this sort of style, though. I'm on the right layer, aren't I? Not anymore, obviously, but it was. Hmm. Um. Here, let's say... Oh boy. Rotating like this is sure laggy. Okay, I changed my mind. I don't actually want to rotate like that. It's a little tricky to get exactly the right rotation off that. A little accoutrement like that. That's what makes sense to me right now. Bum, bum, bum. Let's see. Oh gosh. Here, I do like this little cap I've done, but the other lines aren't so great. You know, because they've got to be perfectly perpendicular to that. Right? And that's how you do that, apparently. I've never done that before, but I'm glad it works. I don't really want them to... Maybe I copy paste, actually. I can do that. And I can put my little cap back on it that I quite liked. First time. Then I'm gonna take my... I kept muting myself before I actually leave. I'm gonna take my next little 3-minute break. I'll be right back, part 2, okay? Okay. I'm back. Wow. Now, I do want those lines darker, actually. just for consistency. Good enough. And also go like that. Then, whoops. Cap that off in just the same way. Where is there? Now, I actually do think that this X needs to be perspectived a bit. Put him in the perspective machine. Yeah. No. Oh, it's fine where it is, really. Maybe put a bit more. No, honestly? I mean, maybe if I rotate it a bit like that, in fact. That might be it. That might be it. And then this can be... where the blade actually starts. Can also be a littler blade on the backside, I suppose. Not that there needs to be. Now, tough decision. How do I want the background to go? I first pictured it going with a tree, right? Tree back there, in the shade, hill. But I'm actually having some, what's the word? Wicked dreams. Some perspective-y goodness. First of all, might I say how proud I am of this? This is actually, like, not terrible, you know? I'm impressed. I mean, I can, you know, get rid of some of these lines, of course. Because they were just temporary anyway. I really should have made new layers for these little things. But it's fine. It's all fine. Wait a second, I don't want to be erasing the actual armored piece. Whoops. Yeah, go doing it again. You can't even tell the difference there, so might as well just not include it. I really don't need to be so perfect with these. Because this isn't the final form. However... I'm proud of this. So, I'm thinking I'd keep it a little bit more in theme with the video, you know? Get rid of these just to save on space. I'll keep that around just in case. I don't know why Control G isn't working. But we will quick group and just name that 1. I can turn down the whole opacity. Let's start working on the background. Alright, so I want to show how it, like, it probably will have to be about shoulder height, huh? Because I need to essentially make it so that it is out in the distance, right? But it is, because the closer you put it, you know, the more it has to contend with where I'm sitting. Or the way you put it, though, the more you risk it seeming like the camera angle's weird. So I think around the shoulders is gonna have to be exactly where I put it. I could even see myself putting it a little bit higher up. No, I couldn't. Kind of. In fact, I'm very curious about this because it seems like there are implicit rules about these things. Like, look at this. This person, all these people's heads are on the vanish or on the horizon line. That is because obviously it's based on where the eye level is, right? That makes sense. So then, oh, whoops, don't be grabbing Krita. So then when I put the horizon line there, it's like saying that we are a character whose eye level is here-ish. Right? And that could mean that we're just sitting down across from them, for example. Because if I put it up more, put it here, put it at their eye level, really, then it would kind of imply that it's their perspective, almost. Which I don't think quite works. I think putting it about there is what's best for me. It's actually lower because that makes it too close to the top of the shoulders. What about down here? Is that good for me? That makes it too close, so it really does have to be right about there, huh? Alright. BKG. So, let me see about some... mountains, mountains painting, right? Because I'm trying to get a feel for how I want them to be. So I want these mountains to basically be silhouettes, right? Oh, hello, hang on, let me see your name. Isopod Enjoyer. Isopods are pretty cool. This is how things are going right now, by the way. I'm working on figuring out how I want to do the background. And I want mountains, but not necessarily this sort of mountain. I'm just trying to find how I want to do the silhouettes more, you know? I think this sort of dealio would be probably best. So how that works is there's, it looks like 3 layers to it. In fact, maybe I do desert-y, because that is what I'm going for after all, is sort of a desert-y background. You like it so far? I'm glad! It's based on my little Minecraft video that I made. So, there's a particular thing in it. Let me see if I can go here. Without spoiling too much in case you decide to watch it yourself... Oh, hang on, it's not at the best angle there. Oh, hey, love you too, Sharky. So, you can kind of see down there, not super well, if I full screen it's a bit better. You can kind of see how I'm wearing a golden helmet, golden pants and stuff. Have the diamond axe. That's sort of what inspired this picture. Is that little section of the video. Where I'm not actually wearing a chest plate, but I have the golden helmet and the armor and this axe. And I'm in the desert. So that's sort of how I want to make this go. And also, I don't know if I said already, but I love you too, Shaggy. You're the best. So what I've got to figure out is how to I've got to figure out how I want to put things in the background, you know? Honestly, stuff like this might be good. You also like my model. Thank you. I've been working on a replacement. I know this one's good, but I've been working on a replacement because, I mean, who wouldn't want their own, right? That they've made for themselves completely. I am going to bring it up just because I'm very proud of progress on that one as well. You know? Like, it's obviously nowhere near done. Whoops. But, you see, doing it from scratch is the main part that makes it cool. I also find it very fun how I've done a 2D mouth and 3D eyes, whereas here it's a 3D mouth and 2D eyes. So that's just how that is. I'm very proud of it. And I'm actually surprisingly proud of this so far, too. I'm pretty happy with how it's gone. Looks like a solid start. Yeah, I think so. The expressions I've been editing have been going decently well. I learned how to make drivers for different shape keys, which makes it much easier for me to change the mouth position with the with relation to things, because the teeth and the tongue and stuff in the mouth, those are actually like elements of a texture that I can move around independently of the actual like vertices that are there. But the thing is, I can't necessarily move them with the shape key unless I use a driver that says whatever value the shape key has, apply that as a transformation of some kind to that part of the texture. And then I can also say whatever shape key is applied to the full model, you can apply it to the mouth in the same way. So I can name the shape keys the same thing. I can then set up the shape key on the rest of the model however I want. Then the shape key on the mouth, I can add the driver and say, boom, they're the same thing. One moves the other. It's very nice. It's been fun. Now, I do need to... You seem talented. I don't know. Talented is a bit of a hard thing to define, don't you think? we've got to figure out how we want... So, anything above the horizon line is basically going to end up seeming pretty close. So I kind of want to put some stuff off in the distance. Maybe... Obviously it's best to put maybe it is subjective, but from what I've seen and heard in this short amount of time, makes you think you are first impression. Well, I'm glad you think so. I think that's a very nice compliment from you, so thank you. Goodness, I don't know what I'm doing at all, do I? Maybe if I just search for pictures of plateaus. You know, because I need to just kind of draw one out in the distance. This is the kind of thing I'm after, really. Oh, and thank you for the follow very much indeed. I did animate that little thing there myself. I could have done better, but one, I didn't want to stress myself over it. And two, there is a certain je ne sais quoi about the little drawn with your mouse instead of your drawing tablet. Now, it is tricky. Here, maybe I just make it a bit more direct. Maybe Mesa biome in real life. Yeah? That is not what I was looking for, excuse me. In terms of the actual biome itself. And of course, it's just Minecraft pictures. I thought I might get the real thing to get inspiration from. That is okay. That's more like it, huh? So... because obviously Minecraft is well and good, but obviously the real thing is going to get me something better. For my purposes today. So if I do kind of like... and then... this way, if I do it like this, right, not only do I get sort of the effect I'm going for, which is the thing going through. Maybe I make a break in it here-ish, you know? Something a little different. It's hard to say, because obviously most of this is going to be silhouettes, because this is going to be at night. One other thing I've noticed is that these tend to round off at the bottom rather than steep drop, you know? So like that. And then, obviously I want stuff a little closer. I've just been hopping around streams. I know I haven't been here long, but I think I'm going to hop again. Thank you for streaming, and I hope you have a great rest of the stream, depending on how it goes. Okay, awesome. I hope you have a good time. I know how that is. Looking around, making friends, finding how things are is pretty cool. Good luck. I hope you find what you're looking for. I do want it to... so, this wasn't intentional at first, but it is now. I want the general slant of these to... thank you. Yes, you too. I want the general slant of these to be going this way, because this is also going that way. So it kind of creates a general feeling of this wayness, which is good because it makes more of a unified feeling in the piece, rather than it feeling like there's a background and a foreground. So it helps create that unity, which is a very nice thing, I should say. Maybe I make that a little sharper. It's just a little matter of balancing it. Because you also have to think about the weight, you know? So if I put too much weight on this side, then it feels like there's not enough on this side. These big old feet, they do add a lot of weight to down here, which does help balance a lot of things up here. And a lot of detail in the foreground is balanced with less detail but more of a grand scale in the background. I think though that I still want this even smaller than it currently is. You know? Whoops. And we don't have to be quite so explicit about it, you know? Because obviously we're gonna have it going that direction. But that doesn't, like, we could have it be slightly taller, but we could still have stuff being back there. But it would be a bit foggier because it's more distant. So really, the darkest parts will be in the front, right? And that's where you'll get the most sense of the going back that way. And it also helps us balance the background a tiny bit more. Because in general, they're all going to be roughly the same height, realistically, at one part or another. But the parts closest to me, this will be the tallest, those will be less tall, so on and so forth, you know? So I might illustrate that with another layer, because I've learned my lesson. I'll do this to indicate the closest parts. I might as well hide this for now. This is we're working on the background after all. Oh, whoops, wrong layer. Good enough, anyway. Then I can go like this to indicate what's in the very, very distant back. You know? Stuff that won't be seen super well, except as a light silhouette. And then there will be the stuff kind of in the middle, which I guess I can use sideways bars for. Actually, that's a bad idea because that'll get in the way. Very cool then. Or maybe I leave those ones as they are. Because that really indicates where my, thing is, you know? However, I do kind of want to include Badlands stuffs, which it would include trees. I guess actually I could put trees everywhere, right? And I guess I'll just kind of scribble them, because I don't quite know what I want them to look like yet. Whoopsies. And there'd be more trees, more trees, more trees. Then, essentially, we'd end up with a bit of a forest. Be a bit sparser, though. Maybe actually the problem is the height. If the trees are too tall, then it stops seeming like these things are distant, you know? If the trees are like there, And I put them on every... Actually, I put them lower there to show that it's even more distant than you thought. Or maybe not on every line, but every now and then, you know? Okay, that one is pointless to put any on. I'm gonna put some over here. And they actually be the closest. And by closest, we do mean tallest. And back there is the shortest. And these farthest ones you wouldn't be able to see any at all. Alright. Oh boy, I don't want to end stream. I want to keep streaming pretty much all night. But I've got class tomorrow and an appointment. Oh, it's such a bad idea not to go to bed now. So I'm gonna do a little bit here just to sort of make it easier to show off what I've done today. You know? And then I'm gonna go like this. So, this is today's progress. It looks really cool, actually. Yeah. Unfortunately, I do have to end. So sad. I don't want it. I'm gonna make sure I take a screenshot of this so I can share it around places. Copy. Minimize. Then we will grayed out. You know? Let's just sort by viewers. Or actually similar or smaller. Oh boy. Only 2, huh? Let's see. Maybe this is a good one to write into. I don't know them. They seem interesting, though. I'm gonna pause my music so I don't get distracted. How do they sound? They're having fun, it seems like. I'll see you guys next time. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so it'll be Noita. Noita's a very fun one. Okay, see you guys. Bye.